Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Randall Woodfin. I serve as mayor of the city of Birmingham, and it's truly an honor to be with you tonight for a topic that's very important, and I think that's special to all of us. It centers around relief for our citizens, and so we know and acknowledge that the last year in the city of Birmingham and for many areas across the nation, many people, citizens, were left to fend for themselves, were laid off, were furloughed, were fired, and couldn't make ends meet. And one of the biggest things in not being able to make ends meet is being in a position, unfortunately, to either get behind on your rent or not be able to make payments towards your rent. And that's a struggle that too many of us have had to face as far as people in our community. And so I'm extremely excited to announce that the city of Birmingham, and hosting this special town hall meeting tonight, is now ready to launch our portal for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. The applications, to receive applications, it opens up Monday. That's next Monday, April 26th at 10 a.m. Again, that's next Monday, April 26th at 10 a.m. What we want to do tonight is to go into detail and answer any questions you have, any concerns you have, or thoughts around this topic, as we want to assist you before this portal opens. We believe it's important to over-communicate that we need your help in getting you rental assistance. There is a process. This process requires detail. It requires paperwork and documents from you. It requires you to work with your landlord to make sure proper documents are given to you, because we are under federal guidelines before we can give you $1 of rental assistance. Therefore, we really need you, the renter/resident, to be in a position to provide us with accurate information, and so we can be in a position to help you, because that's what we want to do. What I'm going to do is step back in a minute. I have some pretty cool people here at this table to answer all the technical questions, logistics, how this flows, what you need, any question you have on this topic of emergency rental assistance. I'm going to give you their names: Chris Hatcher over the community development, and Wendy Hicks, who's also part of the community development, as well as Tammy McKinson from Alethea House. These people have been behind the scenes as leaders, trying to figure this out, stand this up, and make sure when we go public that it works and that it's smooth enough for you. There will be, your options is not limited to online only. You can also call in. So let me finish by giving you some information on where to send information. The first thing I want you to know is that there's an actual call center for you to be able to discuss your issue with someone. And that is 1-844-287-1250. Again, that phone number, for any questions you have about this, you can call the call center number at 1-844-287-1250. In addition to that, you can send questions to rental assistance at specialkindofcaring.org. That's rental assistance at specialkindofcaring.org. There's also a website that's attached to the city of Birmingham. It's birminghamal.gov/renthelp. That's RENTHELP. Again, that's birminghamal.gov/renthelp. Again, I'm grateful you're with us tonight. There is no wrong question. There is no stupid question. All your questions are important, because this platform is to provide you with answers so we can put you in a position to figure out what steps you need to take next so we can get assistance to you. With that said, I am going to kick it over to Shonda Temple, who will quarterback the remaining of the night. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor, and I want to thank everyone for joining us on Facebook Live as well as WebEx and listening to this roundtable discussion about the city's emergency rental assistance program. We received several questions prior to tonight's town hall, and one of the main questions is who qualifies for this program? I think Wendy Hicks is prepared to answer that. Ms. Hicks, can you tell us who qualifies?
Yes. People who are eligible for this program are people who live within the city limits of Birmingham, and also landlords who have property within the city limits of Birmingham. If you have been affected by COVID-19 financially, you are eligible for this program. That means if you're behind on your rent or your utility bills, we are available to assist you.
Thank you, Ms. Hicks. And I think also it's important to point out that if you do have any questions on if you qualify, we need to stress that we want you to do one of two things. Either you can visit our website. On that website at birminghamal.gov/rent-help, you will find an FAQ. It is full of questions that you may have and some that we will address tonight. Also, like the mayor said, you can call the call center. It is manned 24/7. That number again is 1-844-287-1250. 1-844-287-1250. On the website, it requires individuals to have several documents in order to apply. Wendy, one of the questions we received today at City Hall was, what type of documents do I have? And if I don't have all of my documents, will I still be eligible to get help?
Yes. So if you would go to the website, birminghamal.gov/rent-help, you will see a list of documents that you can download prior to you filling out the application. So we encourage you to go on there and look. But some of the basic documents that you would need an ID of someone in the household. You would need income verification to show that you were affected by COVID-19 financially. You would need your lease, and you will also need the landlord statement stating that you were behind on your rent, or your utility bill stating that you either are in disconnect status or something showing that you need assistance with your utilities.
Thank you, Ms. Hicks. And this is for the team tonight. We have a question from Facebook. It's from Bobby Johnson. He wants to know, he's saying that if you're on a fixed income, you cannot get help. Is that true or false? Mr. Hatcher?
I'm sorry, Shonda, can you repeat the question?
Yes, if you are on a fixed income, you cannot get help. Is that true or false?
Oh, that's definitely false. All you have to do, no matter what your income is to show that you have been negatively impacted by COVID-19. And that could be through loss of income, or that could even mean that you've incurred increased costs due to COVID. Maybe you had a family member, or maybe you fell ill to COVID yourself and you have increased medical bills. That is an increase that is affecting your income and your ability to pay your rent or your utilities. So that is a qualifying justification for this program.
And while we're talking about documents and proving that you are eligible for this program, let's say I have seen a reduction in my occupation or in my job, or I've been laid off. How do I prove to you all when I'm applying for this assistance that yes, I've been affected by COVID-19? What type of proof do I have to provide for you all in that online portal?
Now, in the portal, what it's going to request is that you upload certain documents. You would need to upload your utility bills if that's how you were in, to show that there was an increase in cost on those utility bills. Basically, we're just asking for you to call the 1-800 number, the 1-844-287-1250 number. Talk to a case manager. They will walk you through the process step by step, and they will explain exactly what documents you will need.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hicks. And this question, we have another question from Facebook. It's from Audrey George. She wants to know, can landlords apply for their tenants? Can landlords apply for their tenants?
Yes, we encourage landlords to apply for their tenants, but they need to also work with their tenants. So, because the tenants will have to provide their driver's license or some type of ID. So, we do ask landlords to get with their tenants, go over what is needed, apply together.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hicks. And for landlords watching or listening tonight, one thing I want to point out is that on the website, which is birminghamal.gov/rent help, we have a section on there for landlords. We tell you what you need to in order to apply. All landlords definitely need to upload that W-9. And also on the website, we have a section for tenants. Like Ms. Hicks said tonight, it's telling tenants exactly everything that they need to apply for tonight. Another question we have is, let's say I've been approved for this program. Do I get the money as a renter and I pay my landlord, or is the landlord paid directly? How are you all distributing the money through this program?
Yes, the applicants will not receive direct payments from this program. The payments will be distributed directly to the landlords and the utility companies. So no direct payments to applicants.
Okay, we have another question from Facebook. How much does this program cover? We have a gentleman who says he went 3 months and almost got put out of his apartment. So are you all covering 1 month, 3 months, or is it done on a case-by-case basis?
We will look at every application on a case-by-case basis. Applicants are eligible back to March 13th of 2020 when the pandemic started.
Okay, Ms. Hicks, I think that is very important for all of our listeners and watchers tuning in tonight. It's very important for everyone to know that if you have incurred some type of problem connected to your rent or your utilities, this program goes all the way back to March 13th, 2020, correct?
Correct.
All right. You mentioned that utilities are covered. What type of utilities are covered and what type of utilities are not covered? We have received that call a lot to our office today.
So the utilities that we are covering will be your natural gas, gas bills, water, and power. What's not covered is cell phone bills, telephone bill, cable, and internet.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hicks. We have another question from Facebook. How long does it take to get approved? How long does it take to get approved in this program?
So if you go ahead and get with your landlord and gather all the documents that are required, each case will be looked at individually on a case-by-case basis. And if you're able to upload everything, fill out the application, have everything required, it helps speeds along your application. So we're not giving a timeline to it, but we encourage everybody before you start the application process to have those documents in place. It just helps speeds along the application.
Let's say that I'm in the portal when it opens up on Monday. I realize that I don't have one of the documents. I go ahead and hit send and I submit it to you all. Will you all consider my application even though I may be missing a document or two?
The portal would not allow you to submit unless all documents are uploaded. So on the left-hand side, you will see as you're filling out the application, it will turn blue if that section is complete. If that section is not complete, it will remain gray. And so if it remains gray, once you get down to submit the application, it will not allow you to submit until you have completed each section.
So that's important to note. So just like with everything else when we apply online, sometimes we get a notification telling us that you have successfully completed and submitted your application. Will we receive that type of notification when we quote unquote have successfully completed the application?
Yes, you will get an email.
Will we get a notification if we have not, meaning if we hit send and we're missing a document or two?
It will tell you when you go to hit, it won't even highlight, so you will not be able to submit it, and it will tell you down in red what is missing. And so you can go back to each one of those sections and fill in what documents are missing or what information is missing.
Okay, we are getting another question from Facebook, and it says, if I'm eligible for the rental moratorium, am I still eligible for this funding? I'm not sure what they mean by the moratorium.
So there is an eviction moratorium that's in place right now. For this program, we are just asking that if you have worked with your landlord, please get in touch with them and see if they would like to participate with this program with you, and you are still eligible even though there's an eviction moratorium in place.
Okay, we received a question from email. It said, I applied for help from JCCEO last year. I received that help. Do I still qualify for this program?
Both programs are federally funded programs. We cannot duplicate the same months that JCCEO has paid for. So you will have to provide a list of months that they have paid for, and we will look at your case to see if you're eligible for funding through our program.
So what you're saying is if JCCEO covered my back rent or my late rent, let's say November and December, now I'm applying for late rent for January and February and possibly March, I can apply. Is that correct?
Yes, you can apply.
All right, great. Another question we have here is it grant money or does it need to be repaid by the tenant?
Oh, that's a good question. It's grant money. It's federally funded money, and it does not have to be repaid to the tenant or the landlord.
Okay, Facebook has another question for you all tonight. It says, how long does it take to get approved? I've successfully submitted my application. When can I expect to hear from you all?
You will get like I said in the beginning, you will be working with a case manager throughout. So you can constantly call that, not constantly, but you can be in contact with that case manager to see where your status is.
Okay, we have a question from email. This individual says they do not have access to the internet. They want to know, how can they apply?
We do have a 1-8, let me get the right number for you. Shonda, you gave it to me. We have a call center number, 1-844-287-1250. You call that call center and they will ask you a couple of questions, and then they will connect you with a case manager who will assist you with filling out the application.
Okay, we have another question from Facebook. It says, I'm current on my rent, but my utility bills are past due. Can I apply to get help for my utility bills?
If you were affected financially by COVID-19, then you can apply to get assistance with just your utility bills.
Okay, and again, let's let everyone know that the website, again, for information on the Emergency Rental Assistance Program is birminghamal.gov/rent help. We have another question here. It says, I don't live in Birmingham. Am I still eligible?
No, you're not eligible for this program, but help is out there. Jefferson County received funding under this same program, and the state of Alabama receives funding under this program. So there are two other programs that you may be eligible for, but you have to be a resident of the city of Birmingham to receive programs from the city of Birmingham's program.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hatcher. We have a question from Facebook. What if my landlord has already started the eviction process? What do I do?
You are still eligible to apply. Your landlord, still get with your landlord, tell them about the program, and then start the application process with them.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hicks. We received this question a lot to our office today. People want to know, does this cover mortgages? We know it covers renters, but does it cover people who are experiencing problems paying their mortgage?
Unfortunately, no. This program is specifically geared towards renters. There is a mortgage moratorium that lasts through September 30th? September 30th. So we urge everyone, if you are behind, or homeowners, if you are behind on your mortgage, first of all, you really need to work with your lending institution. There are remedies that the federal government has put in place to assist you. For more information, you can go to our rental assistance webpage. There is a section that will link you to programs that will assist you if you're behind on your mortgage as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hatcher. Another question from Facebook tonight. It says, once I'm approved for this program, will I get the money? Will it be given to me directly, or will my landlord get it? I think we asked that, but go ahead, Mr. Hatcher.
Okay. No direct payments will be made to applicants. Direct payments will go towards your landlord through ACH transaction or electronic transfers, and also to your utility companies.
Okay, we have another question, and it says, I live in public housing. Can I apply for this program?
We are encouraging individuals who live in public housing to apply through the state of Alabama rental assistance program. And you can actually just Google that, or you can go onto Birmingham, our website, and connect with that link.
And since we're talking about documents, like we said before, there are a lot of documents individuals need to apply for this program. And I think that some people are concerned that they may not have all the documents, they may not have some blank documents. And one of the things that the website does is it provides blank copies of those documents. So if you're missing certain documents, we want to encourage people to visit the website, especially for those landlords who may need that W-9. We have a copy of a blank W-9 on there. But Ms. Hicks, what type of blank documents would people need in this instance?
There are documents on there for if you're self-employed. It's a certification. There's no income certification form on there, and the W-9. It's a couple of more. I can't remember right offhand, but there's a detailed list of the ones that you would need to apply. Most of them, if you cannot download them from the site, if you would call the number and we will mail those documents out to you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hicks. Another question we have from Facebook is, what type of income do I need to qualify for this program?
So you need to be below the 80% AMI for the city of Birmingham. And I can just give you a roundabout. If it's one person in your household, that would be about $40,000. And if it's about 4 people in your household, it would be $58,500. So that gives you a range about how much 80% below the AMI is.
And for those who may want to know how many people are living in your house, we have a chart on our website, and it goes through, I think it goes from 1 to 9 people living in a house, rental. So you can check that out on our website. It's on the website again is birminghamal.gov/rent-help. Another question we have from Facebook tonight is, do I have to be behind in my rent to apply for this program?
That's a great question. You do not have to be behind on your rent to apply for this program. If you are financially affected by COVID-19, then maybe your utilities are behind. So we were you can apply for utilities and not necessarily rent.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hicks. Some people may be wondering, we're requiring people to submit a lot of paperwork. People are hurting right now. They may be asking and wondering, sitting there watching us, why do I have to submit all of this paperwork if I'm hurting now? Can one of you all answer that for us tonight?
Yeah, I'll definitely try to take a shot at that. And, we empathize with everyone. We sympathize. We know that, everyone is hurting right now. But this is a federally funded program, and it has certain requirements to prove that it is actually going to benefiting our residents who have been impacted by COVID. This paperwork that is being required is the only way that we can prove to the federal government that we are spending this money appropriately. Believe me, we wish we didn't have to be as thorough. We wish that we could just help anyone with the funds, but we do need that proof. And believe me, this money, there's a lot of requirements that do come behind that. We will be audited by the federal government. We will be monitored. So we are trying to make sure that we don't jeopardize getting future funding for not being able to run this program effectively and efficiently.
And that is totally understandable. And since we're talking about paperwork, we have a question from Tanita Gray on Facebook. She asks, some people receive their bill electronically and it doesn't state the disconnect. How can they show proof that they are about to be disconnected or their services or utilities have been disconnected if it doesn't state it on the emailed document?
So if they are receiving their bills electronically, if there was a way that they can download that bill, I think there is a way that they can go in there and download the bill. If not, they can contact that utility company and ask for a printout of that utility bill. Make sure it has the individual's name on there and the account number on there and the months of that bill.
And let's say they can't download it. Do you all accept pictures? Can they screenshot it from their email?
Yes, they can screenshot it, but just make sure it's a clear picture and to make sure that the individual name is on there, the account number, and the month and the amount of the bill is on there.
Okay, great. Thank you. Another question we have tonight from Facebook is, when can I start calling the call center?
Oh, we want you to start calling the call center Monday at 10 o'clock a.m. It will be open. Well, you can actually call now, the call center, for general questions, but the portal does not open up until Monday, April the 26th at 10 o'clock a.m.
And I think it's important to point out, let's go over that again. People can call the call center right now for basic questions. But if they want to start applying, they will have to wait until 10 a.m. on Monday, April 26th. That's where they will be matched with a caseworker, and that's where they can start the application process. That is, if they do not have access to the internet or they just need additional help if they're applying online. Is that correct?
That is correct. I highly suggest that you go to birminghamal.gov/rent-help. Look over the questions. Gather your documents before you make that call. It just makes it smoother.
Okay, thank you. Another question. As a landlord, how do I apply for rental loss on behalf of a tenant who may not cooperate due to a pending eviction?
So this is the landlord who wants to apply for the tenant who's not cooperating because the landlord has a pending eviction?
No, the tenant has a pending eviction. It says, as a landlord, how do I apply for rental loss on behalf of a tenant who may not cooperate due to a pending eviction?
Okay, I got it. So if the landlord can still apply because there is an eviction moratorium going on, and so as long as the eviction moratorium is in place, the landlord cannot evict a tenant. The landlord can recoup the funds by applying. The tenant will have to submit some documentation, like their loss of income or ID. So I encourage the tenant to work with the landlord on that. But the landlord can still apply, or the tenant can apply, but we will eventually need both documentation for them.
Okay.
Now, we are asking landlords to not evict tenants if they receive funding from our program.
Okay, thank you. Another question. We are behind on bills and rent. Will you cover utilities and rent? They don't say if they live in Birmingham. It's just a generic question. Can you answer that?
Yes, if you are a resident of the city of Birmingham and you can prove or certify that you are behind in your rent or utilities due to COVID-19, yes, you are eligible to apply.
Okay.
And we will cover those costs if your application is approved.
And I'm not sure if this next question is coming from a landlord, but the question, I'll toss it out to you all. It says, will I be able to recoup the total amount of past due rent and utilities or just partially?
We'll look at the situation on a case-by-case basis. We just urge everyone to apply. The assistance is out there, and we'll have case managers who will be assigned to your application who will be able to go through the specifics of the amounts that you'll be able to recoup.
Okay, thank you. This is a good question. I'm going to toss this to Wendy. It says, if I don't have internet access, how can I see the income chart? Wendy, you talked about the income chart tonight, which shows what people have to make in order to qualify. So how can they get the income chart?
If they would call that number, that 1-844-287-1250, we will direct you to a case manager, and they will give you the income chart.
Okay.
We can mail it to you, or we can tell it to you over the phone.
Okay, great. Thank you again, Wendy. Another question tonight. Will you pay directly to the utility companies or to the individuals? I think we've covered this question, but this is definitely on the minds of a lot of people tonight. So again, let me restate that question. Will you pay directly to the utility companies or will you pay to the individuals once applicants have been approved?
We are paying directly to the landlord and to the utility companies. You will get a notification that your bill has been paid.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Again, we want to stress to everyone that the call center number is 1-844-287-1250. That's 1-844-287-1250. The website is birminghamal.gov/rent-help. Chris, I know you addressed this earlier this week. Somebody asked you, what does this type of program mean for the city of Birmingham? Mm-hmm. Why is it important?
It's important to the city of Birmingham because it's important to our residents. It's important that all of our residents who are experiencing housing instability are able to lay their heads down at night and sleep peacefully, knowing that they don't have to worry about if they can have a roof over their heads or their family's head in the coming weeks and months. So it also allows them to concentrate on, recouping from COVID-19. If you don't have to worry about your rent or where you're going to eat or sleep, then you can search for jobs. You can do the necessary things that you do to overcome your deficit from COVID. So I think it's very important, and I think this is a much worthwhile program that I'm pleased and I'm happy that the federal government has provided the funding to cover the rental assistance program.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Another question from Facebook tonight is, I haven't been making much money on work since the pandemic hit. Can I get help through this program?
Are they referring to job assistance?
Yes.
Okay. So if they would call that number, we have additional resources for individuals that we can link them to regarding employment services.
So let's say that they were talking about job assistance, but let's also look at the other side of the coin. If they have been having trouble with work, how else can they get help from this program? Being out of work or not having as much income as they had prior to the pandemic, now they're having trouble paying their rent. How can they get help from this program?
If you were out of work due to financial reasons, due to COVID-19, and you are unable to pay your rent, call the number and work with the case manager, and we will look at your case to see if you are eligible for future rent payments.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. Next question. As a landlord applying with my tenants, will I be given a case manager or will the tenants get the caseworker or the case manager? Does everybody get a case manager or is it just the tenants?
So when you apply, when you go through the portal and you apply, if your landlord has applied and you have applied, those applications will be linked at the end. So you will end up having one case manager.
So if we have a landlord over here and their tenant has applied, they will get the same case manager?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you. You all answered this tonight, but I want to toss this out again because this person is asking on Facebook. It says Brandy Walker from Facebook is asking, how long will it take to get approved?
If Brandy would have all her documentation in order and successfully complete her application, it should take no time. Case by case. Like I said, the case managers will be working with the individuals. They're going to keep them up to date on the status of their application.
Okay, thank you. And Lisa Singer from Facebook is asking this question. Is there a maximum amount the program will pay for one renter?
Again, that's on a case-by-case basis. Different renters have different unique circumstances. They can range from the amount of rent they pay, how far they're behind. So we can't give a blanket answer to that. We just have to look at it on a case-by-case basis, and the case managers will determine what is the appropriate amount of assistance necessary in order to bring the renters current on their rental or utility bills.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Well, it looks like everybody is asking some of the same questions that we've addressed. So what we want to do is encourage people to either watch this broadcast again in your free time, and definitely do these two things. We want to encourage you to check out our website, and that's birminghamal.gov/rent-help. We also want to encourage people to call the call center, which is 1-844-287-1250. 1-844-287-1250. And finally, just a reminder that people can start applying on April 26th. That's next Monday. The portal will open at 10 a.m. And what individuals need to remember is that when you go to the website of the birminghamal.gov/rent-help, there will be an actual link on there telling you that this is the link that you need to click to start applying. Once you click on that link, it's going to ask you to set up a password, and then you can start your process at that point. We want to also encourage you, there is one type of browser you would like people to use. Is that not correct, Ms. Hicks?
Yes, Google Chrome is the best browser for this application. And we also want to remind you to write down your case number. Once you have made an account, the best way for us to track your account, if you call us, if you have written down your case number.
So you need to keep that case. At what point will you get your case number? Is it when I'm calling the call center? Is it when I'm actually applying online, or both?
When you start the application, you will get a case number at that point.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Hicks. Thank you, Mr. Hatcher. And we did not hear from Ms. Tammy McKisson. Do you have anything that you would like to say before we close out for the evening?
We simply encourage everyone to make sure all the documentation is in place. That will determine just how long it takes for your case to be worked and get through the process. So if you go online to the website at www.birminghamal.gov/rent-help, and you'll see that list of documentations there. If you call the call center, they will also provide you with that list of documentation. The more prepared you are, the faster the process will go for you.
And Ms. McKisson, I'm noticing on Facebook, Lisa Singer is asking this question. We've addressed this tonight. She's saying, will there be assistance available to help applicants who are not internet savvy? I know that you all have talked about this, but if you can just address that for us before we close out for the evening.
For those who are not internet savvy, if you would call the 844-287-1250 number, that call center would first determine your eligibility, connect you with a caseworker. That caseworker will walk you step by step and complete that application for you. So don't worry about being tech savvy. We're here to help you.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, everyone. Again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. It was definitely a pleasure to present this to you. And finally, we just have to stress, we definitely want everyone to check out our website at birminghamal.gov/rent-help, and definitely check out our call center number, which is 1-844-287-1250, 1-844-287-1250. Thanks again.